Good morning and welcome to the fourth and final day of the Democratic National Convention, which is going to last several years based on my calculations. It's going to be a long day. There's so much going on. But first, good morning, Danielle, Jen, and everybody watching. And Mercedes, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Some of us are sleepy, but it's because so much is going on, and there's so much energy and excitement. How is it that energy drains one of energy? But it's like there's just so much to take in, and pay attention to. That even day 3 was ridiculously packed with not to be missed speakers. Some amazing cameos and surprise appearances. So let's start, Jen, with your highlight from day 3 of the Democratic National Convention. And then we'll go to Danielle, and we'll also preview a little bit about what we might be expecting for, again, I can't believe it's the last night. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, I think the star of last night's convention was Project 2025, without question. And this morning, Jen, I showed a lot of different clips, but I think what I'd like to say is it was obviously coordinated. Everyone was on message. At least 5 different people discussed Project 2025. Of course, Tim Walz, Senator Cory Booker. We had Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, mentioned it. So did this guy named Polis, and I forgot. He is. Not sure where he is. He's a former congressman, and maybe he is.
Jared Polis is a governor of Colorado.
Okay, he was a congressman. Now he's the governor of Colorado. I love that you know that. And the best person who did this, not the best person, the best delivery by far, I think, was Kenan Thompson, because he delivered it in a way. I mean, you needed it all, right? There's no wrong way to deliver this information, but the way he did it, was so flipping hysterical. And I have the clip. It's a little bit long, so I don't know if you want me to play just a piece of it to get a sense of it, 30 seconds. But he went through, it's classic. He nailed it, and he brought it home. It was biting, funny humor in the way he can deliver, kind of a little bit, some improv, some planned. And then at the end, he just brought it home by saying, you need to vote to make this happen.
Yeah.
Hi, Kenan. It's great to be here.
Thank you. All right, good. Now, Becky, you're married, correct?
I am. Me and my wife have been together for about 8 years.
Oh, that's amazing. Very, very cute.
Thanks.
But I have got some bad news for you.
I hate that.
On page 584, Project 2025 calls for the elimination of protections for LGBTQ plus Americans. So yeah, right back to the Stone Age. I'm afraid so.
Right back to the Stone Age. That's terrible.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Becky, for being here and making that wonderful point. All right, next up, we have Nirvana. Nirvana, are you with us?
Love. I thought that his delivery was amazing. Because the thing is, we've been talking about Project 2025 as it is a fearful, catastrophic piece of, I don't know, the Republicans' imagination of where they want to put us.
That is great. But on page 465, Project 2025 calls for millions of people like yourself to pay more for prescription drugs like insulin.
Why?
Why? Well, I guess maybe to help Big Pharma make more money that they can donate to Republican politicians, I assume.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, unfortunately, it does make sense. All right, let's talk to Anita. Anita, are you there? Yes. Hello, Anita.
Hello.
And Anita, what do you do for a living?
I'm an OBGYN who delivers babies and does surgery.
An OBGYN. She is an OBGYN that delivers babies. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, yeah. It's bad news, isn't it?
It sure is. On page 459, Project 2025 resurrects a law from the 1800s called the Comstock Act to ban abortion nationwide and throw healthcare providers in jail.
Oh my God. That is awful.
Yes, it is awful. All right, let's do one more.
So, Danielle, that was very low key, but very effective.
Here's the thing. I love it because I was saying, like, look, we have been talking about Project 2025 in the most catastrophic and terrified, trying to get people to understand the risks of not voting, the risk of sitting this one out, the risk of complacency. And I think that it's really important that we also turn it into a joke, right?
Mhm.
They are a joke. The Republican Party is a joke. What they're offering, what their plans are a joke. And so for Keenan to be able to deliver that message, I love it. Like listening to, oh, and you're an OBGYN. Uh-oh. Like, it's like, oh, well, you're going to be out of a job or in jail. I thought it was spot on. It was really spot on.
Yeah, that was my favorite moment actually of last night because it was just it wasn't, there's been so much intensity and drama, which again is good, it's important, but also just kind of, oh, that was funny, and it took this very serious thing and it kind of cut it down to size, as you said, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But in terms of speeches, did anything in particular stand out to you?
To me,
Mhm.
so this is funny. So last night, Oprah speaks, right? She was one of the major headliners.
By the way, just very quickly, she was getting major hate on Twitter yesterday for not having said anything about it, whether or not she's endorsing Vice President Harris. So it's like to everybody who was,
Right.
Just dragging her on Twitter. Well, there's your answer.
Correct. But did it shock anybody else that Oprah is a registered independent? I was kind of floored by it. Like I was like texting with friends who, have worked with her in the past. And I was like, did we know this? Was this public? And we just didn't remember. And then a friend of mine, said, and made a very good point. He said, look, Oprah knows that your political affiliation is public. And she, when Oprah was on television, was in all of our living rooms on a regular basis, I think to having had identified as a Democrat or Republican really would have ostracized, and this is 20 something odd years ago when we didn't have kind of the rabid partisanship that we do now. So I thought that, I said, okay, now that you're framing it that way, it's more of like a strategy as a way to be able to bring, all people together, which her show, did for 2 decades. But I loved her speech. I love the digs at JD Vance, because she is a childless woman. So I guess, Oprah doesn't matter.
Please
right?
tell me she has cats.
She has dogs. But she's a childless woman who has remained unmarried, famously unmarried, and and has dogs. So her being able to kind of be up there as this like pillar of the anti of what JD Vance has continued to talk about. I loved it so much. And then lastly, Hakeem Jeffries and of course Tim Walz. Picture perfect, but I know we'll dig into that. But Hakeem Jeffries saying like, bro, we broke up with you. Why you keep spinning the block trying to get into relationship with
that
us?
affects every
Oh,
single...
this is
Sorry.
that
Sorry,
was
shoot.
Booker.
I'm just trying to find. I got it. Okay.
Okay.
Will not be easy.
Which brings me to you know who.
Yes.
Donald Trump is like an old boyfriend who you broke up with, but he just won't go away. He has spent the last 4 years spinning the block, trying to get back into a relationship with the American people. Bro, we broke up with you for a reason.
Love that.
Yes, we did. And just as to the Oprah thing, I too have just tried to play it straight down the middle because I know how important it is to be able to. But you know, we've seen that with people of that prominence. You know, Taylor Swift very reluctantly came to the point where she couldn't. She could stay silent. You know, staying silent was no longer tenable. But yeah, it's different times. Also, these are extraordinarily rich people, and you know, they probably also need to come across as being politically neutral in some instances. But I do think we are far beyond the time of having that be possible. You know, if you have that much pull and that much influence, you guys have to take a stand. And she did. And it was great to see her there last night. And I just wonder, like, what other surprises are in store for us tonight? Because Jen, I think they're going to need to double the convention's capacity in order to fit everybody, because I think with the exception of day one, which was almost at capacity, but, you know, not everybody's able to come for the whole time, and, you know, making the calculation that it's probably, if you can only come for a couple days, it's probably to come at the end, which is a good calculation. But it was still like 95% full. I think from Tuesday on, it's been totally packed. And when we were there on Tuesday, there was not a seat to be had, but the perimeter and the lounges were also packed. So, Jen, I don't know. We may have to like parachute in onto the roof or something.
You know, I want to, like, there's half of me that wants to be an honest broker, like I always am. And there's half of me that wants to say the following: oh, it won't be crowded. There's no need to get there early because I'm fucking gonna go there like as soon as we get off air.
I was gonna say.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
I'm like, can I just? How quickly could I get dressed after Nerds and get my ass over to the United Center and sit in a seat and not move? Because I'm not going to have it happen to me the other night where I was like, I told Danielle, because it was the first time, I'm like, don't wait, get your seat, right? But I didn't listen to my own advice because I'm like, she's a newbie. I know how to do this. I did not.
Exactly.
Oh,
and I
you
didn't get
neophyte convention goer.
I didn't get a fucking seat, you know, and I was standing kind of looking through, and they're dead serious. You cannot hang out in those little gate entries. They will not let you do it.
And they won't let you sit on the steps either. Like they're like fire hazard. So if you have no seats and you're just like, but I'm sitting on the concrete step, right?
No.
And nope, get up.
So yeah, I'm just calculating, can I carry my like whole tech setup here down the hall to the elevator and just go now? Because I'm wondering.
I think there are people there already.
Probably.
Oh, Mary. So
yeah, it's too late.
I will not be one of them.
Yeah, I will get in line early because this is
you
like,
guys hold the line.
I'll hold the line. I will do anything. I will walk over a glass to get to this today.
Bring a pillow. Bring a pillow.
No, Mr. But speaking of bring a pillow, would this be a good point to say?
Oh, did I set you up for something?
I love this.
Did you know that Mr. Pillow somehow got a credential and was in the perimeter of the arena harassing a 12-year-old child?
Yeah.
Would you like to?
Who's
read
Mr.
him
Pillow?
for filth? Yeah.
Mike Lindell.
Wait, who's Mr. Pillow?
Mike Lindell.
Oh, Mr. My Pillow.
Oh,
see,
yeah,
they're
Mr.
different.
I feel
Pillow
like
men.
I
My
called it, yes.
pillow.
Okay,
Look,
my
I mean,
pillow.
if they can't
You-
call Kamala, then he just gets to be downgraded a fucking pillow.
This is
Gotcha. I gotcha. Like we can. I think it's pillow.
pillow.
okay.
Mr. Pillow. But by the way, just so in case you guys didn't know, Mr. My Pillow.
Pillow. That's what we're gonna call him from now on. Pillow.
Mr. Plow is doing
He-
blow. That's
He
pretty much the
very
story.
generously, though, considering he's bankrupt, he's lost everything because of Donald. He very generously had a custom mini My Pillow made for Donald's ear. It was awesome.
Oh, Mary.
No, he didn't.
He did not, did he?
Did he really?
That's what he was wearing to the convention. A mini My Pillow.
You're just joking. Are you
Oh
joking?
my
She's joking.
god.
That's too good.
Okay.
Okay. Wait.
I'm
I
not
didn't
gonna
know he
tell
was.
you
I
if
didn't
I'm
know he was
joking or not.
bankrupt though. I
This
did
is-
not know that.
Wait. Listen
Let's-
to this.
let's
This kid.
watch
Okay,
the
go
clip
ahead.
so
Yeah,
And I
can-
forgot what this
I
kid's
can
name is.
gather
I'll tell you his
myself.
handle after. He's a very cool kid on Twitter. Okay.
He's a young reporter. He's
he's
amazing.
12.
Yeah.
We should have him on as a nerd. Okay.
Oh, you
Get
are.
rid of
Oh.
and go to paper ballots and count.
Ask him what proof he has that it was fair. Why? How do you know it was
Which
fair?
election are you talking about? There was one. No. There was one down in Georgia. 3 Democrats.
I'm from Georgia.
Okay, there's 3 Democrats in Georgia in the summer of 22. She's a good friend of mine. She got 0 votes in her own precinct.
it?
So Brenda, I'm not telling your last name on your stuff.
I
But you see. But let me tell you.
no proof.
The proof. They looked into it in Georgia.
Okay.
Crooked Brad Rasmussen, your Republican Secretary of State.
Okay.
He looked into it and said, oh, it was a computer error. They gave her back her vote. She went from 3rd to 1st. She's a friend of mine. Another gal, Democrat, 4 counties over in Georgia. She got 4,600
But where's
votes,
the proof?
but she wasn't on the ballot.
You want me to take your word for it, right?
No. This was in the paper.
So what's
This
your
was in
last
the-
name?
This was in the paper.
She's an elected
Okay,
official.
let me tell you. In Georgia, I will tell you, an Obama appointed judge last fall, this case been going on 3.5 years. Alex Halderman, this is in your state, so you should be up on that. Alex Halderman, he's a Democrat, and he's also a cyber guy, and he looked into the machine, and he said there's problems. That judge last fall ruled in your state. She said, we're going to look into this, we're bringing it to court, and the experts say there's problems, and she said, and if you question it, you're not a conspiracy theorist. So I got to take off my tinfoil hat. Now guess that, in her courtroom on January 9th in Georgia, now maybe you didn't see this in the news, maybe you're not up on things. Alex Halderman,
I am. I'm up on your bankruptcy too, sir.
Alex Halderman with a ballpoint pen hacked into the machine in front of the judge and switched the whole election in front of her. Now that case is still in Georgia. She has not ruled on it yet. That's in your state. You want to know more in your state?
So
They
your
just
source-
found
you haven't provided any sources.
257,000
But do you
votes.
hear
This
him?
happened
Are you
last week. A judge
providing
ruled in
any
Georgia
sources?
that are missing?
Any sources?
2020
So
election.
you're
This
like,
just
the name
came
of the
out. You're
person.
behind. You
So your source is trust me, bro? That's your source? You
No,
haven't
the
provided
source. No,
any
the source. It's in your papers in Georgia. You need to read the news.
You haven't given me any
You
last
need to
name.
read your news.
I have 2 questions.
I love that kid.
One is, did he shave his mustache? 'Cause
Yes.
Okay, so I
He
wasn't
said
sure
that
at
he was
first,
going to
but
do that to be incognito. I don't think that he knows what incognito means because you usually
Well,
don't tell people.
Then, because there's a difference between chronological age and mental age.
Uh-huh.
So clearly, from a chronological age perspective, like, what are you doing talking to a 12-year-old boy? But then when you consider what mental age means, it makes sense that he would think that that 12-year-old boy is his peer. What an idiot.
Can I just say one thing? He said, "I'm up on your bankruptcy." Did you hear that?
I didn't. I
yeah.
could barely
Yeah.
hear anything.
Because what happened is he said, You need to follow the news." He goes, "Oh, I'm up on your bankruptcy."
The young kid, what is his name, Jen, or what is his handle?
Hold on one sec.
Yeah. Because he gets, so, he has a show. He is a young political journalist. And he's like, so your proof is trust me, bro. Like, that's what you're telling me. I'm asking for last names of public officials, and you're not providing the names of public officials, and you're telling me trust me, bro. Got
His
it.
name is Noah Was Taken. KNOWAWAS Taken. Noah Was
Nice.
Taken.
Okay.
At Noah.
Awesome. At Noah. Awesome.
I mean, it's sort of also a reminder of what we haven't had to deal with this week. It's been such a joy not to have to listen to those idiots,
Mhm.
while I don't even know what if they're doing anything or if
yes.
They're just starting out GoFundMe's for all of the bankrupt Republicans who are still rallying around their fascist. I don't know, but thanks, Mr. My Pillow, for reminding us what we're missing. Because how fun!
We don't have to show the clip because I know we're running low on time. But Mary, he was at a rally in North Carolina with a crowd about as small as you can imagine, just not making sense.
You mean it was a crowd so small that Rhode Island could have beaten the crap out of it in a war? Like that small? Like we're talking
that
tiny,
small. What is that a reference to? Wait, that's funny. I forgot.
Like a JD Vance size crowd? Like,
yes.
Like, hey guys, we're all here for my speech, but maybe we should just go over to Starbucks and do this over a cup of coffee small?
Like Four Seasons parking lot, dye dripping down your face small. Like there are more tripods than people small.
That's an Arthur reference, Mercedes reminded me. He also was behind a glass cage, kind of like Hannibal Lecter, which is the epitome of irony.
But no straitjackets, so.
Yet.
Okay, I apologize if there are any lapses here. I'm having a hard time hearing anybody, which suggests to me that there's something wrong with one of my cables or something. But I did want to play the Bring Them Home clip just to remind everybody that look, this is a party. This is a party for the party. And that's what conventions are for. It's to kind of solidify alliances, to show unity, to come together and prepare for the remaining days of the campaign. And I think that's important. It's been a slog, and that's a polite word to describe the last 8 years. And we need this. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's immoral. Because we can't just focus on tragedy all the time. We'd lose our minds. Only some of us can do that. So we need this, right? It's like a pressure valve release. However, it's also important to remember that this isn't just about propping up our candidate or making a show of force and unity. It's also to make the case that this is the best ticket, this is the best party to grapple with serious issues and provide the best policies for the future of this country. So this was one of those moments last night, if we could watch that clip.
At this moment, 109 treasured human beings are being held hostage by Hamas in Gaza. They are Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists. They are from 23 different countries. The youngest hostage is a 1-year-old red-headed baby boy, and the oldest is an 86-year-old mustachioed grandpa. Among the hostages are 8 American citizens. One of those Americans is our only son. His name is Hirsch. He's 23 years old. And like Vice President Kamala Harris, Hirsch was born in Oakland, California. Hirsch is a happy-go-lucky, laid-back, good-humored, respectful, and curious person. He is a civilian. He loves soccer, is wild about music and music festivals, and he has been obsessed with geography and travel since he was a little boy. His bedroom overflows with atlases, globes, maps, and National Geographic magazines. On October 7th, Hirsch and his best friend, Honor, went to a music festival in the south of Israel. It was advertised as celebrating peace, love, and unity. They also went to celebrate Hirsch's 23rd birthday. As rockets began to fall, Hirsch, Honor, and 27 other young festival goers took refuge in a 5-foot by 8-foot bomb shelter. Terrorists began to throw grenades into the shelter. Honor stood in the doorway and repelled 7 of those grenades before the 8th one killed him. Altogether at the Nova Music Festival, 367 young music lovers were killed. This was just one of the many attacks on neighborhoods and communities in southern Israel on that terrible day. In total, 1,200 were killed, including 45 Americans. Hirsch's left forearm, his dominant arm, was blown off before he was loaded onto a pickup truck and stolen from his life and me and John into Gaza. And that was 320 days ago.
Yep, 320 days. And we are in a situation where we keep getting close to ceasefires, a ceasefire, which would involve returning the hostages, and it keeps not happening. And then recently we were told that we were getting close, only to hear that Donald Trump got on the phone to speak to his fellow corrupt fascist, Benjamin Netanyahu. And Donald told his buddy not to agree to a ceasefire before the election, because a ceasefire, a successful ceasefire, would help his political opponent. So that's also something that needs to be pointed out. There's a lot going on in the world that is directly and indirectly the result of the corrupt Republican regime. We thankfully broke up with, as Hakeem Jeffries would say. But, you know, there's still work to be done. And do we really think the Republicans are going to do it? So, Danielle, I think it's a good reminder what else is going on and the other things we're fighting for. You know, very sobering reminder. And it is sometimes very tricky to do both things in this context, in the context of a convention, but I think it's also appropriate. So, you know, tonight the gears are going to shift again. But let's just not, you know, we all know that it's important not to lose sight of what is foundational to the fight we're in. And that fight can be joyous and it can be positive and uplifting and optimistic, but it's also grounded in the realities that we're all living through to one extent or another.
I will say this, and I know that we're at time, but quickly, is that, you know, there have been on the campaign trail a number of protesters that we have seen, you know, in the days, the over 300 days that it has been. There has been so much death and so much destruction over, you know, I think at this point, over 60,000 Palestinians have been murdered, children, women. Twin babies were just killed the other day as their father went to go get a birth certificate for them. I mean, I just, you know, it's the amount. So to me, I say that, and to listen to, you know, to this mother, and like, Donald Trump only gives a fuck about Donald Trump. Like, and for anyone to think to themselves that this man should ever enter the White House again, should ever have his hands on fucking, classified documents, should ever be in a space to be in conversation on behalf of 330 million plus Americans is fucking beyond me. Is beyond me. And so I do think that it's an incredible reminder of the stakes. Again, the stakes, not just for us in this country, but the stakes globally that are at hand. We can be joyful warriors. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can both celebrate, the opportunity that we have to live in a more hopeful and a more just country and world, while also balancing the fact that if Donald Trump becomes president again, right, there is no hope. Not just for us in this country and our democracy. There is no hope for the people of Palestine. There is no hope for the people of Israel. There is no hope for the return of those hostages that will never see their families and their lives again. And so it is an important reminder and that we can be doing both and.
Absolutely. Jen?
I'm really touched by what you said, Danielle, and I couldn't have said it better. So that's what I've got to.
Okay, we are heading into day 4. We are going to be bringing it all to you with lots of caffeine. So look for us. We will be out and about and along the perimeter, inside the lounges,
along the perimeter, hanging on to the side of the building.
Hanging on to, yes, after we parachute onto the roof, we will climb down and hopefully the Secret Service won't notice that.
We're going to bungee jump from a helicopter. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, because that sounds like something I would absolutely love to do.
Barry, anything for our viewers.
Anything for you guys.
For our viewers. It's not just about you. It's about, what they need to see from us.
Mercedes will be on a roof a few hundred yards away with the telephoto lens, making sure she catches all of that on video for you guys.
She'll have us like a puppet master. And she'll yank on the cord, bring us out of the shot. It would be great.
Republicans would never do this.
Never.
For anybody. So
ever.
we
never,
are
ever.
going to, all right, I need to go check my parachute pack, make sure everything's good, no holes and all that stuff. You guys do the same. We will be back in an hour for the nerds. So thank you for joining us for this. And we will have all sorts of stuff through the day, plus wrap ups afterwards. Thank you. We'll see you all later.